I'm in Lewiston, New York, at a place called Artpark, and we're here to see an Indian burial mound today. Now, if you look for where it is, it's situated between two parking lots. There's one, that's a concert venue. Alison Krauss will be coming here in a couple weeks. There's the other parking lot. They used to have a sign right there that said burial mound. And I found some pictures of these signs online because I was here yesterday. And I thought, what the heck? Was it my imagination? As I haven't been here in a long time. So they had like that photograph or that sign back there. They had one talking about the burial mound. And they had one that was brown and yellow. And I remember they had this trail, like an asphalt trail. It went right around the mound. Do you see it through the woods there? Well, it's very hard to see because it's overgrown. I don't know what their deal is. I don't think they want people to know about this anymore. Let's take a closer look. The burial mound sign missing. But then you just walk in here. You can well, I shouldn't say that. But I think they have those tick signs up to keep people away. So you just walk in here through the trail. There's a little fence. You get to the curve, and they have this little installation. If you walk 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 paces in a zigzag formation, you wind up right here. There's no signage whatsoever. And it's hard to see, I know. But can you see? Can you see it? The outline. There's one point I was in here yesterday. It wasn't a bad vantage point. But it's right there in front of you. Now they say this was built by, they call them the Hopewell Indians. See, can you see it? And there's a lot of burial mounds throughout the Ohio Valley. As a matter of fact, we're only a little bit downstream from Niagara Falls. But I'm walking around the whole perimeter of this mound. Now, an interesting note. When Abraham Lincoln was looking at the falls, he wrote, "The eyes of that species of extinct giants whose bones fill the mounds of America have gazed on Niagara as ours do now." And you can find that and read it for yourself on the papers of AbrahamLincoln.org. So this is one of those mounds. Now, when they have dug up these mounds in the past, they find these giant bones that are 8, 9, 10, 12 feet tall. And there's another place near here, Tonawanda, New York. See, that's a decent view. Where I'll explain that a little later. So right here, somebody left a pile. You know how people do that with the rocks. And in one of the photographs I'm going to show you, it looks like the trail came right through here, but here's where the trail is. And there's a picture online where you used to be able to walk right down here on a trail, right through here. And it was all manicured. Now, what's not surprising that this is here, there's a lot of historic things here. What's surprising is that they had this clearly marked with the official looking signs you'll find all over Niagara. They had a trail marker designating where this was. Burial mound. They're gone. They took them away. Like, all of a sudden, they don't want people to know about it. But people do. Now, one of the pictures I'm going to share that someone else took, they had the trail. And you can still see the remnants of the trail. It walked right around here because I had been here before and I decided to document this yesterday. And I'm like, where did that mound go? Well, it didn't go anywhere. They just have taken steps to hide it. I wish I could get a better view of it, but it's kind of hard. And I imagine it's going to get even harder as the years go by. They have all these signs up warning about ticks and Lyme disease. And yesterday I was in here, I was a little paranoid. All these signs warning about ticks and Lyme disease got me a little sketchy. Now, if you do some research into the Serpent Mound, you'll find that they kind of were like snake worshipers. And I believe this is what we're looking at here. You know, I can't remember who I first heard about the Nephilim from. It might have been a video I've seen on by Chuck Missler. But the other guy is Steve Quayle. And I've learned a lot from those guys. And then it branches off into other people. Tom Horn, Timothy Alberino. And there's a lot more. L.A. Marzulli. There's a lot more. So what I think we're looking at here is this is not a Native American burial mound. It's an ancient Indian burial ground. I don't even think there's an Indian in there. What I think is in there is a Nephilim. Now the Nephilim, they were the offspring. When Lucifer rebelled against God, he was cast out of heaven, which you can read about in your Bible. Books like Isaiah, and then in Genesis 6 they go on to say that these were men of renown. Well, it goes on to say that they were cast down from heaven, and some of the fallen angels had sexual relations with the women. And they bore these children, these great men of renown, and that they were giants. Now I believe that all those stories about the Greek and Roman gods have a basis in truth. But it's not, it's the biblical truth that these fallen angels came down and mated with mankind. But that's a whole very interesting subject. If you look into the guys I just mentioned, you'll get a lot of insight. I believe what we're looking at here is the burial site of a Nephilim. They kind of let it overgrow. There's a lot of local Indians around here. Two tribes. You have the Tuscarora and you have the Seneca. And I bet they don't want people to know about this. I just can't get over that they did this. But the path used to go right through here. You can see where it was. There was an asphalt path. And it was this close to the mound. And the mound was nicely manicured. And you know, when you look at the size of these saplings that are on there, they're not that old. Now, if this mound hadn't been tended for a lot of years, I think you would see a lot bigger trees in there. But again, they don't want you to know about this. But I'm just astounded that they took down the signs and they're just letting this to regress. Nobody will know it's here one of these days. And I walked right past this. I was looking for this yesterday. I was like, it was right here. You can see how that log, the bottom is on the ground, but the top is resting on that mound. See, the log's in the ground. There's the roots. I don't know. I'd say I'm down here. I'd say that's about 6, 8, 10 feet tall. And I'll show you what a quick walk. I showed you the other parking lot. We'll just take a quick stroll down through here. You can find a lot of, this is called the LEWISTON Mound. You could find a lot of information on that online. I was surprised. Okay, remember, this is called Artpark. Oh, what is this? Oh, I see. It's art. Now you see, does this make sense to you? They have a sign. Sarah McNutt, Nathaniel Hall. They sure put a lot of work into this, I will say. But anyways, this gets its own sign. That burial mound gets neglected and obscured, and they take down the sign. So look, here's what we have for signage. the Oak Hill and Scoville Knoll. Doesn't say anything about the burial mound. Oh, wait a minute. It does. You'll see a variety of sculptures and artwork produced by artists, as well as the Lewiston Mound. That's what we were just looking at. But then the question is, why did they take down the signs? Why did they get rid of the trail? And why did they let it fall into such a state of neglect? Here's that lower parking lot. And there's the venue. And the upper parking lot was just around the bend. And sandwiched in between, you will find the Lewiston Mound, or an old burial mound. Thanks for coming along. And after inspection of myself, I have no ticks. But I am kind of covered in these little, look at this. These things, they're like Velcro. Covered in these little things. Spider webs and burrs. And I got some of these little scratches from the thorns. I see varicose veins too. Where'd all that hair on my ankles go? Socks. They keep it away.